Okay, today I'm going to give you an overview of the Cepheus scenario generator. This is for inspiring ideas inside your referee to help them create a scenario. It's branded as a Cepheus product, Cepheus engine product, but it's actually system generic. So what you get when you download is a zip file. If you unzip that file, inside you'll find this file over here on the right, which is a plain HTML file. Now that's a web page, but you can run it on your local box. No internet connection is required. You can either double click on it and it'll open inside your browser, or as I'm about to do, you can just drag it over and drop it into your browser and it opens up. So this is a web page running on your machine, no internet required. So very simply, it's got one button and you can click this any number of times. So let's start. Okay, so what we've got here is a number of prompts to help you build up a scenario idea. These are all randomly generated with some rules on how they link together. So first of all, we've got a main plot. The category of the plot is a sacrifice is going to be required of some sort. That sacrifice is going to involve somebody's livelihood. They're also going to need new skills. So perhaps somebody has to retool, relearn some new skills. But these skills are social. So perhaps we require that somebody moves from, I don't know, mining out in the asteroids to becoming the servant of a noble, perhaps. And this will be somebody's hopes and dreams. So that's your main plot line. Somebody is now going to have to sacrifice something, change their livelihood, learn new skills, and perhaps fulfill their own or somebody else's hopes and dreams. But we also have a subplot, which is also in this case based on sacrifice, livelihood, and a change in industry. Well, that kind of matches what's going up there, but it's something to do with a space station. So we've got two sort of similarly linked plots, but one is involving a space station, and that is the subplot. So you have to get your referee's mind cooking on that one. Now, as another sort of random add-in here, we've got a random starship has been provided. This one is called the Quick Queen, and it has a quirk of having an alien crew. So again, you could wind that into your scenario concept. We've also got an antagonist down here. It is His Excellency Halvar Danat, who has a threatening attitude. So perhaps that's the person you're learning the skills to be their footman, but he's threatening. Maybe he's threatening you and making you become his serf. There you go. That's inspiration builds on it. Now we also have environmental. Environmental doesn't just mean, like it says here, flood. It doesn't necessarily mean just the weather. It's not. Flood in this context, let's say you're setting it on the space station mentioned above. Now, flood, yeah, you could have a water leak somewhere, but it could be a flood of gas as well. So again, you've got to take this as an inspiration. And it's saying the danger level of this over your scenario is it's a background danger, something happening in the background. So if you're building up your scenario and you've got this retraining social thing going on, you've also got this danger of a flood in the background. So it's like a side plot that you've got to deal with. Anyway, so that's just the first click. Let's click another one. Okay, so here we've got a main plot is something to do with trading. You're trading a rare item, turns out to be an endangered animal, and something to do with a natural phenomena. Perhaps some natural ability of that animal makes it important. We've got a subplot that involves an assault. Now, assault could be your party going after someone or something coming after your party or something they own. In this case, there's an uprising going on at the same time. There's a democratic movement that's doing the uprising. And for whatever reason, all the witnesses of something are important in this subplot. Did they see this animal being kidnapped by somebody? Perhaps. Is it a democratic movement? Is the animal an icon to the democratic movement? So there you go. And here we have a starship, the Nakamesh 665, and it has a quirk of landing struts are extended for whatever reason. Again, you've got to build that into the scenario wherever it seems appropriate. Down here we've got an antagonist who is Ellen Oswald, who's pretty laid back, and we've got a hazard here, which is a minefield, and it's imminent. Now again, minefield could be literal. So it could be, anti-tank mines sitting under the soil. It could also be a minefield in space. Or it could be a natural minefield. But think wasps' nests. Perhaps you're walking into a wood and every tree has a wasp's nest on it. Something like that. And the danger level here is imminent. So we're dealing with an endangered animal. So there could be a literal minefield that animal is about to wander into. So again, it's all about inspiration. Let's click again. Here we go. We've got another assault as the main plot line. Uprising again. It's a slave revolt. And we're dealing with just a few credits. So has the revolt come about because these slaves who were being paid a few credits have had that stopped? And it says here, inheritance lost. And there's a storm. So, a few credits, inheritance. That's quite a tricky one to come up with a plot around. Perhaps the slaves were allowed to pass a few credits on to their children to set them up. But that's been taken away from them because there's a storm, a galactic-wide storm or a solar storm that's caused a big need for revenue in the powers that be. There you go. And we have a subplot of exploration. Now, this first item is always a general categorization. And then the following items you see after this symbol here are all sort of subdivisions or links to that previous item. So we've got an exploration in space, asteroid. Again, that could apply to the storm. Could be the asteroid storm. But we've also got rising water, there's a general strike, and a mass killing. So is there a general strike because of a mass killing? So we've got a slave revolt going on here and a general strike at the same time. So society is falling apart at this point if there's a general strike and the slaves who are presumably, they could just be on one hold, or it could be a worldwide slave revolt. Okay, we've got more Starship stuff here. The Seda Krupp Z00 and the crew is missing. So we've got a Starship floating with no crew on board. And we've got the Honourable Ellen Lecoupe, who is morose for whatever reason. And here we go, an asteroid hazard. And it's a constant, eternal hazard. Is this world suffering a slave revolt because they're having to take all the money away that the slaves did have, those few credits they were given? They're taking it away to pay for the constant asteroid damage. At least, perhaps that's the excuse for taking their credits away. And perhaps there's a starship up there somewhere in the asteroid belt. Again, plenty of ideas for you. Let's click another one. General exploration, so your party's exploring. In this case, an alien structure, which could be a dead city. Sibling or parent? Are we exploring an alien dead city looking for a sibling or parent? And there's a social requirement or a social aspect to this relationship. Sibling or parent? Do you need to find a sibling or parent in order to succeed to an inheritance? Or to prove your innocence? Interesting. And we have a subplot of sacrifice. Again, something or someone is being sacrificed. In this case, an entire people are being sacrificed. And they are all witnesses. And there's illness, and the illness is related to madness. So again, this sounds like a disconnected plot to me, but at the same time could be running in the background. Everybody who's seen the alien structure is suffering madness coming upon them. Perhaps something psionic is happening there. Again, we've got another ship, the Silver King. It has its fuel scoops extended for whatever reason. Now, however your players interpret that, that's down to them. And your antagonist is Count Thomas Vick, who's somewhat agitated. And we have a low-level famine going on as well. Let's click again. A trade mission. Trading technology, it's guidance systems. There's an accident. Okay, so are you trading a guidance system? Or are you having an accident because of a bad guidance system? And a holiday venue is destroyed. Okay, so does that mean while you're trading, some destination has been destroyed? And kill leader. So was the holiday venue destroyed because a leader was killed? And that was taken as revenge? Now that could be interesting because I see the subplot here is an assault. There's an uprising, a slave revolt again. There's an amount of 1 million credits involved. There's also a new corvette, new ship, and bloody reprisals. Now again, this subplot taking place. There's 1 million credits at stake here, and possibly a new starship. And a leader was killed. So again, there's a subplot that you can build into there. So perhaps the players come here trading and end up looking for this 1 million credit corvette. Maybe it's just salvage. Maybe it was brought down during a bloody reprisal, and that ship is called the Stone Queen, which has an extra turret or two on it. And perhaps the leader who was killed was Gunilla Ewell, who's somewhat callous. And we have an eternal famine once again. Let's go again. Assault, war, kill leader, the next week, legal document, subterranean cavern. Okay, so a legal document in the next week is revealing perhaps the position of a subterranean cavern. Why is that important? It's something to do with a war and killing a leader. Okay, so we now have an investigation as a subplot. We're looking for something. Where is it? It's a starship, and it's a decommissioned trader. It's firearm and kill leader again. This is coming up a few times here in this scenario. Kill leader here and kill leader there. So perhaps this subplot, although it's somewhat different, is tied in to that kill leader on the main plot. Okay, Super Runner is the name of the ship, and it has a damaged prow. Interesting. So presumably this starship. Antagonist is Dav Spruce, and he's pessimistic. So that's kind of hopeful. Perhaps he's sponsoring the players as they go into this mission. And we have a hazard, a general environmental one, of an animal die-off, and it's happening right now. So there's a war. Has that had a side effect of destroying the habitats of certain animals? It's up to you how you interpret these, but you can just keep clicking here. Lots of ideas coming up. And the idea is your referee's going to look at this, going to click on this, see if it inspires just what he needs for that scenario tonight. It doesn't give you all the details. You still need to do some of the work in your head, but it gives you a lot of inspiration opportunities. There you go. If you like what you see, there's a link to buy this on DriveThru RPG in the description below.